there's no better place to start than Tottenham, because Antonio Conte, I spoke to two journalists today who are really playing it down online, but they have told me privately, so people can take this as what they will, that he has been sacked. They told him that he's no longer welcome. They are just working with these representations and legal teams surrounding the compensation and what they're going to pay him to go. But he will leave. Ryan Mason is going to come in until the end of the season as he's kind of interim replacement. And then they are looking at Ruben Almarim and Luis Enrique and Poch to come in and replace him. But Antonio Conte sacked. The right thing to do, in your opinion?
Yes and no, if I'm being honest. That club's just a shambles, full stop, Terry. And to be fair, the interview or post-match press conference, as it was, he was spot on. The only thing I would say that he didn't do that he probably should have done is given himself a bit more slack. Yeah, but I think he's got to that point where he's just fed up. Like he's fed up and had enough. And you know, people can sit there and say he spent a lot of money, but has he really spent that money? How many of them players did he actually want? Like we know that he's a win now manager. We know that he's not a youth project manager, one for the future manager. We know that you bring him in, give him a load of dough, go and buy a load of 35-year-olds, and he might get you in the a title charge. We've seen in Inter, he had Ashley Young at right back. Like, you know, he didn't want Jed Spence. He probably wanted an Ashley Young type player, like in his mid-30s. Well, 37, I think Ashley Young is now, isn't he? Still doing it at Villa. But I'd say Perisic was definitely his signing. That's a Conte-esque signing. And then obviously Kulusevski, albeit he is a lot younger, that's his signing. And so is Bentancur. Other than that, I'm kind of struggling to see what other players he wanted. There's a lot of people saying he wanted Richarlison. Did he? Because he don't tend to play him very often. And I don't know, man. It's weird because Tottenham have always been a circus. And I say this to Henry when I speak to Henry on shows. Like, what do Tottenham fans actually want? Like, what do they want? Where do they think they should be? You know, they're doing what they did last season. They're challenging for top four. They're currently fourth. You know, they've got a little bit of a cushion, but people have got games in hand behind them and stuff like that. If they get Champions League, their fans will be jumping for joy. Oh, we go again, win the Champions League. They get in the Champions League, they do nothing in it and get knocked out. Then it's, we're back in the Champions League. Like, round and round you go. Like, they had Pochettino do that. And fair play to him. He got them to a final, which they lost. But they don't win anything. And there's no identity at that football club. Like, all I see is Daniel Levy and Enoch just turning it into, like I quote you all the time on this, the North London O2. Like, that is basically what it is. It is an absolute shambles what's happening at that football club. But their fans seem to lap it up. And, you know, I see a lot of Tottenham fans online in the fallout of that press conference saying, oh, he's a disgrace, he's trying to get sacked. I don't think he is trying to get sacked. I think he's just got to the point where he's just thought, do you know what? This lot are a shambles. I'm just gonna say it as it is. I think he was extremely peed off they drew 3-3. Now, people can talk about his tactics all they like. And yeah, listen, he ain't been great. Yeah, let's be real. I like Conte. I think he's a quality manager. Yeah, and I don't think he's been great. You know, he's gone in there to try and get this Tottenham loser mentality out of there. The problem is when you don't give him what he wants, and it's still rife with the players that were there under Poch 2-3 managers ago. Like, what's he supposed to do? You can't teach Eric Dyer how to defend. He can't. You know, and then what else has he got there? He's got Emerson Royale, or him or Pedro Porro, who's the worst. Like, he had Doherty there before. No, it's all a much of a muchness, isn't it? I'm not saying he's exempt from any blame because he ain't. Yeah, like his substitutions in the AC Milan game were shambolic. But at the same time, I think that, you know, when you go and play Sheffield United, people are saying, I see a couple of Tottenham fans saying yesterday, I think it was Toby on the Big Six, said, yeah, but he put a reserve team out against Sheffield United. Well, no disrespect. Even Tottenham's reserve should be beating Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I do think, just to say, I do think he's been harshly treated, but at the same time, he needed to do a bit more. But when you're not getting given win now players, you're getting given like Sarr, you're getting given like other players that are nowhere near, and then you're being told you've got to keep these players. You can't go and get a defender. You have to get this. We're bringing this in. And 60 mil on Richarlison. Yeah, who's apparently out for the season. He's going to end up with no league goals this season. That 60 million could have bought him a centre back.
Yeah.
It could have bought him a right back. Yeah, it could have brought him somebody else that might help him win. Yeah, I think it's hilarious watching them, mate, because they just do the same crap every year. And it's just a different manager. And then the funniest thing about it is the manager leaves and goes on and wins. Like, you know, Pochettino left, ended up winning at PSG. Mourinho left, won at Roma. Yeah, he's going to leave. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at Atletico Madrid. Yeah, he'll probably end up nabbing a couple of players out of Tottenham that he does like. Yeah, and he'll end up winning something with them as well.
Do you know what's crazy about it? I agree with lots of what you've said. I think Conte has made lots of mistakes. His style of football, the players rejected Jose's style. They rejected Nuno's style. So I don't understand what made the board think they were going to take his. Now, I was somebody, I said the same about Conte that I said about Jose. If they give this manager what he wants, they're dangerous. They could be a dangerous team. Last year, I knew they'd make top 4 with him because Spurs do what the Glazers do, but on a smaller budget. Is when new managers arrive, they give them everything they want to begin with, and then they slowly start to pull the rug from underneath their feet. They did very well to get into the top 4, and I said at the end of last season, if they give him what he wants this summer, they could be an outside chance of challenging for the title. But where you're bang on is they haven't. I now believe Richarlison wasn't a Conte signing. One, as you say, not used enough. Same as Dan Juma. The guy isn't bringing him on in games where they need another goal. It is unbelievable. Of course, Jed Spence is a standout example. We also know when it comes to Richarlison that the player Spurs were trying to hijack all summer before they signed Richarlison was Gabriel Jesus. I guarantee you'll find that Gabriel Jesus was the player that Antonio Conte wanted. Richarlison, for me, at £60 million, is one of the worst signings Tottenham have ever made. Maybe with a new manager who loves him, he'll turn it around now. That can happen with individuals at football clubs. You know, a new guy comes in, can get the best out of them. You know, Varane was looking like a bad signing his first year at United. Look what a very good manager has done. You're seeing now why he's worth that money. Luke Shaw, barring the Liverpool game, has had a massive turnaround this year. Can he maintain it? It's another question, but maybe Richarlison can pull that out of the hat. But Spurs are a joke. They're a joke right now. And a lot of their fans that watch the Terrace respect what I say because they know what I'm saying is the truth. And this is what fans should be saying to their club. They're linked now with the likes of Ruben Almiron, who's having an amazing time at Sporting. But Sporting work with a limited budget based on the size of their football club on the European front. And he will get the best out of what he has. That is what he is as a manager. Do we know that he can handle the budgets of a Tottenham? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Spurs see it as, do you know what? Give him maybe an extra 60, 70, 80 million a summer, but still tell him, but maybe he can work with a shoestring budget. And I look at it and think, Spurs shouldn't be on a shoestring budget. They shouldn't be. Their turnover is bigger than Arsenal's now. They are signing all these deals to make even more money as a football club. Yes, they haven't got as much as Man United. They don't have as much as Chelsea. They don't have as much as Man City. But they are because of the Premier League TV money, they are one of the wealthiest clubs in the world. Now, Ruben Almiron might be the guy with budgets to do it. But even that link makes me feel you're looking for a guy that can cope with you not spending what you should spend to compete at the very top. Spurs fans will get gas because of how good the football's been. They all renew their season tickets. They buy the new shirts. They buy the new merchandise. They come and watch Lady Gaga. They come and use the go-kart track twice a month just because it's their football club. And all the Enoch out and Levy out stuff will stop for a period of time. But where they will be in a year, 18 months, 2 years, might even be 3 or 4 if the football's pretty, because a lot of Tottenham fans are like, they're like, I was about to say they're like magpies, but magpies actually like shiny objects, like trophies. But they're like
lemons.
Yeah, but they're like, I was going to moth to light. If the football's good, that is the moth to the light for a Spurs fan. The football looks good. That is enough for most Spurs fans to invest their money to keep Levy and Enoch in power, and they will not worry about winning things. For me, they've got to go for Luis Enrique because he's a more experienced manager, plays better football, but would only demand to win. Luis Enrique would not go there to settle for coming fourth, settle for having pretty football, settle for an Audi Cup. That isn't what it's about. And I just think the problem is if you go for Luis Enrique and Enoch and Levy behave in the same way, they will be back here again because he'll lose his temper with the football club and leave and walk away. Honest to God, like they're I feel sorry for them to a degree because I've witnessed very similar things, but just with higher budgets being spent by the Glazers. However, where I don't feel sorry for them is like I don't feel sorry for top Reds at Manchester United. They are feeding the problem. All it takes for these Man United fans is a trophy or a brilliant signing, and they forget about the Glazers. They honestly forget about the Glazers, and they only really bring out their banners and start marching and protesting when things are going wrong. And then there's a very small percentage of Tottenham fans, a very small percentage of Man United fans who maintain their disgust, win, lose, or draw. Who we sign, doesn't matter who we sign, where we come in the league, what trophies we win. We're on their backs because over the medium to long term, they're always going to be detrimental to the football element of your football club. And listen, I feel sorry for Conte on one hand. He definitely deserves blame on another because his tactics, his substitutions, there is a little bit of sabotage in that. Almost, well, I didn't want Dan Juma, so I'm not going to bring him on. That is petulant, and I don't agree with it. But the overall mess has been created by their owners. And listen, they're linked with some really good managers, and all that's going to do is make it's such a great tactic by the club. They've got to pay someone. So let's pay Luis Enrique or let's play Ruben Almiron. That's really fashionable right now. And I'm telling you now, 85% of Tottenham fans online, you will see no more Levy out, no more Enoch out, no more anger. It will be, we're coming for you guys next year. We're going to be back.
They'll be gassed again, like they were when Conte came in, like they were when Jose came in. Like round and round and round you go. That club's a shambles, mate. It always has been. Terry, I'm 41 in the summer. They've won 4 trophies in my lifetime. Like, and the mad thing is a lot of Tottenham fans are happy that the Conte's called it out, like, and put it out there to the wider public rather than keeping it bottled up and keeping it in house. But at the same time, like they're also trying to say that, oh yeah, he's diverting it away from him. He's a bit no. The reason that club do not win is not because of Antonio Conte. Yeah, he's the reason they've not won a trophy since he's been there. Yeah, because like you said, his tactics and all of that. But not only that, it goes hand in hand with the same group that have owned that football club for the whole time they've had. I think they've had about 14 managers in 20 years. Like, and they've always been the nearly team. Like, it's mad. Like, and Arsenal and Man United went through a little rut like this. We went through 9-year trophy droughts and all of that. Yeah, you lot have obviously not won a title in a long time as well. Yeah, but the difference is we were still nicking cups here and there. Yeah. Like, they don't nick anything. Like, they're not. They had a great opportunity this season to get to that semi-final. Yeah, or to get to a final of the FA Cup. They should be beating Sheffield United. They then would have got Blackburn in the next round. They should be in the semi-final against Man City. Right? And it doesn't matter what team Conte put out in that. I believe Harry Kane still started or played. And I didn't watch it, but from what I gather, it was a semi-normal team for them.
It was a strong team. It was the problem is.
But this is the point. They go into these cup competitions even with a semi-normal team, a semi-strong team, but they don't win. Like, they should be beating Sheffield United regardless of what team.
This is the problem with all fans of top 6 clubs. Our reserve teams are better than the majority. They're better than every championship team. And when I say reserve team, I'm not saying the people that don't get on the bench. Spurs played lots of first-team players who were on tens of hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. There is no excuse to getting knocked out to these sides. It just isn't, you know. When you guys got beat by Brighton played their strongest team. You didn't play your weakest team. You played a Premier League team still. You didn't play a bunch of kids that have never had games before. You just got beat by a better team on the day. But that's still a decision the manager has made. It's like, you know, it's crazy that people try and defend it.